Boys and girls, I'm so excited. Welcome to another exciting career day. Now, I know that you've already met one of our friends from Bear, but we have a second guest from Bear. I'm so excited for you to meet our second guest today. He is so excited. I believe this is your first time ever being part of Fairmount's Career Day. Is that true?
That is correct.
Well, we're so glad to have you. We love Career Day. It's an exciting day normally in our school, and maybe next year you'll be able to be part of that in our school. But this year, we're doing it virtually. So welcome. Tell us all about yourself.
Thank you, Margaret. My name is Murali, and it's not Pranav as the way it's shown on Zoom. Pranav is my son. He is also in third grade, and I work for Bayer. I'm an engineer, and I'd like to talk to you about what it takes to become an engineer, what it is that I do at Bayer, the role that we play. Okay. We'll go on to this presentation. I'm going to use that as an anchor for my discussion. So like I said, I'm going to talk about what we do at Bayer, what I do at Bayer, an example of what I have done, and kind of like what my career path was, how I reached here. So a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Murali. Just like can't think of another comparison. Maybe Bruce Lee, so Murali. So I have an 8-year-old who is now in third grade in elementary, and a 4-year-old who is coming into kindergarten. So here is a picture of mine from Baytown in Texas. So where I spent quite a bit with second graders, teaching them United Way campaign. This was a shot that we took at the end of the session. Okay, I'm originally from India, so you see a little bit of this world map here. So I'm originally from India, and then I moved to the United States last decade, and here I am, and that's me. Okay, but I'm also a Jayhawk. So you'll see that we have the Jayhawk picture here on the slide, which is where I studied, and I'm an engineer. What do I do? I do some programming, but I also am a project manager at Bayer. Okay, so you'll see this Bayer logo here. It's called a logo. It just like Jayhawk represents KU, this logo represents Bayer. It's got the Bayer words written on it. Bayer makes medicines, but it also makes medicines for plants, not just medicine for people. And they're also called crop chemicals, crop protection chemicals. Plants have lots of tiny bugs that they have to deal with, and we make stuff that take care of the bugs. They're kind of like antibiotics for plants. Okay, so what exactly do I do? I am a project manager, but what does that mean? It means I'm trying to think of a good example. Think of it like Lego blocks. So you have your Lego blocks and you want to build it. So what do? You build them, but you know, there's a manual that goes with the Lego blocks, although you could do it freeform without anyone telling you what to do. If you wanted to build it just like the way it's showing up on the box, then you would prefer to look at stuff in the manual. So, but similar to that, you want to build a chemical plant or a plant wherein you're manufacturing medicines for plants. So that's the chemical plant is shown here on the right side. You see all the lights, tall structures, and there are construction workers who actually build the production facility. I call it production facility, factories, it's one and the same thing. And how do we do that? We have to come up with some plans, blueprints, so to speak. And what I'm showing here on the left most thing is we have to come up with a plan. A plan is more like a manual, you know, like your Lego manual. So you come up with the blueprint first, and then you then you build it. Now, this plan is not very easy to come up with. It takes time. in the case of in the case of Lego blocks, once you buy the Lego set from Target or Walmart, it comes with the manual. Well, I can't buy chemical plants in Walmart or in Target. You have to come up with a manual, and that takes time. So you take time coming up with a manual, and building a chemical plant is not as easy as building a Lego set, but it's kind of similar. It's very labor intensive, and it takes a lot of effort because these are some really big structures. And that's kind of what I do. We make plans and then we build them. Okay. And there are a few things that we look out for. Well, first, you have lots of big equipment. Oops. We have lots of big stuff. We don't want people to get hurt. That's the number one rule. And then we have lots of stuff. It could be equipment. It could be, imagine cranes. These are some really big stuff. Cranes, trowels, screwdrivers, tons of people moving around. We don't want them bumping into one another and hurting. So, but we have to manage all of that. And then people say, well, get fast, get done. Why are you taking so long? Well, we have to go per a schedule. Usually there's not enough time, and then there's not enough money. Well, I thought this was supposed to cost $100. How come it costs $120? Well, you have to budget. And then, did I say we don't want any people hurt? That we always have to remember that, because we do a lot of things. And then here is an example of, you remember this other colleague of mine from Bayer that you talked with, Lewis? We had done a similar thing for his laboratory. So on your right side is a brand new lab wherein he works at. And on the left is a plan that we placed, that we came up with 2-3 years ago. Actually 2 years ago. We came up with the plan, and this plan is nothing fancy. It's all sketched up on a whiteboard. We have to convert these ideas from what's on a whiteboard to paper. Someone has to work on a computer. We figured out, okay, what it is exactly that we had to do. Lots of people have ideas. We have to merge those ideas so that you have one common idea. Then we have to construct it, make sure that it actually works. So that's what we did with Lewis. Okay, and here's another video. So hopefully it works. So let's see. So let's see, format. And then you had to deal with Microsoft PowerPoint like I'm dealing with right now. Here's a video on what is project management. I do project management. It's typically done by engineers. And here is a video on what is project management. Okay.
Project management is a game where the main objective is to deliver the project on time. Danger of unwelcome delay lurks at every step. Careful planning prior to execution ensures everything reaches the customer without a slip. We do not fear short deadlines, changes, and testing. Smart tactics enable us to keep one step ahead of any pitfall. At So Interactive, every project is delivered according to guidelines, at the right place, at the right time.
Typically is. And I'd like to talk some more about how I became a project manager or an engineer for Bayer. So
go.
All right, so there's that video on project management. And this is another video. So how did I get to this point? What did I do to become an engineer? Well, first of all, I graduated from my high school in '97, and then I did my bachelor's of science with engineering as a major in 2001. And then I came to the United States then at the beginning of this century. And then I did my master's from University of Kansas, again in chemical engineering, master's in chemical engineering. So having an engineering degree was what helped me become an engineer at Bayer. So I was part of the STEM career and was fortunate to get hired at Bayer. Although the same ideas, most of what I do right now, I learned the basics in engineering school. And that helped me, even though we call it STEM, most of the engineers do learn about science, technology, and math, not just engineering. So it's a pretty fun discipline. You may not know it all, but it'll be fun. Once you get a hang of it, a lot of the world starts to make sense. All right. So that's the end of my presentation. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And you hit the pause button, Margaret. All right. Oh, I think we should.
You're good. We're still going. That's so exciting. I just, seeing that information that you have from that you graduated in another country and now you're seeing your kids in school, which I'm a third grade teacher, so I know you've got a son in third grade. Is that right? So what is the difference between schools? I know some of my kids would be asking this question. Like, what was school like in India or school like in America? What's the biggest difference between those?
I think that the school in America is more fun. It's a lot more interactive. And the school that I had in India was more geared towards education and not so much keeping it interactive. I would prefer to do it the American way.
I think kids probably agree with you in that they prefer to do that, trying to keep their attention. There's so much going on that takes away their attention from time to time. Okay, so one of our questions is, what is your favorite subject in school when you were going to school in India?
My favorite subject was physical chemistry. This is in the engineering school. When I was actually in school, probably science. It's been such a long time ago, but I think it was science. I didn't like math so much because it was too problematic for me. But science, on the other hand, though, I could relate to very well with the nature around me, with the world around me. Mathematics was too bookish. It was too, what do I care whether Peter has 10 apples or 20 apples? I just, but look around, I'm interested why the sun is there and why are there seasons. It's fun. Science is fun that way.
Well, and I think that's so interesting that you bring that up, because I think it's so important for kids to know that as they're growing up, to find what you're good at, find what you enjoy, and then find a career that works on that. So you've done just that. Science was something that you were in love with, and now you've been able to build a career based on what you liked or enjoyed in school.
That is correct.
So if math is something that you enjoy, then find a career path that helps you on that math as well. So, All right. And then our last question that we have for you is, what's your favorite thing to do at your job? What's your favorite part of your job?
It's talking to my colleagues and then working with them on something new. When it is new, it might be challenging at first, but talking to people helps me understand new ideas, something that I've never really thought about. So before becoming a project manager at Bayer, I didn't know what electric equipment was about, or what civil equipment is about. But talking to my colleagues helps me learn some new stuff, and that's my favorite part about being at Bayer.
And I think the more that we learn about more jobs out there, is most people say that, your favorite part is being with the people that you're with, which is so important to enjoy where you are and how you work. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Boys and girls, can't wait to see you until next time on our next virtual career day. Bye.